many of you have in your cell phones and iPads and all that jazz, you've got the app TripAdvisor or something like that. Well, it dawned on me today as I was getting this particular program ready, I thought, well, I did ask my TripAdvisor about this trip, but not exactly how you all would tune in. I spelled TripAdvisor with capital letters. So my TripAdvisor, before leaving, encouraged me to listen very carefully up here, keep my antenna up, and observe, observe, observe. So that is indeed what I have been doing. And it's very interesting. Now, in the pocket of the Northeast, where I am, it's quite close to Manhattan. So it's a bedroom suburb. So many people, go in and out of the city, and they're pulling that energy with them. But in addition to that, as I observe, they are spinning wildly in their own little vortex, and they're spinning like chasing their tail, and it's quite poignant to see it. We're supposed to spin, but the spiral is supposed to go up. And when I listen to them, they become trapped, many of them, in the matrix of their stories. And the stories become a red badge of courage. And this particular trip, I'm very invested this time around in healing modalities for people. And the people are very, very, very invested in what's wrong with them. And in the first few days, it took me a while to catch my breath. I know after the show last week, after the radio show, I was like, whoa, how am I going to do this? And actually thought, I got to go home now, because it's very challenging to see the pain that they're having to live through, and their unwillingness to look at their story or drop their story. And here's what I hear them telling me. But it's hard to drop the story. This morning I had a beautiful woman here. She's had 10 years into teaching yoga. And it's time for her to drop a lot of her story. And it's really hard. So I hope you don't hear that beep coming across. It's a call coming in, and I'm so untech savvy, I have no idea how to cancel that. So I'm hoping that we're still on the air, but I trust we are. And I'm waving the person, hang up. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm trusting we're still on the air. So with listening and watching, there's not much else to do because of the investment in the story. And I have another friend, a beautiful friend, my friend Renee. I've spoken about her before, in South Florida. And she's now on a very specific, health-oriented pattern of nutrition to change her habits after 60-plus years. And people say to her, what are you doing? And she says, I've had to give up sugar, dairy, alcohol, and wheat. And they say, that's too hard. And I say, yep, it's hard. However, she's saving her life. She's saving her children's life because they're following in her footsteps. So, and the same thing goes with what I'm putting out there. I'm really saying nothing more than stay present, be present, don't go into the future. What are you doing that for? There's no chi in the future, but you will surely create a mess for yourself by the time you get there. Now that brings me to South Florida. Because I've been so busy here, frankly, I have not had any time to come up for air. All I could say to you is, I'm sorry, I know something bad happened in Texas. I don't know what it was, because I've been too busy, I've been too focused. However, in South Florida, my son is there, my grandkids are there, friendships are there. So yesterday, I had an first occasion to really check in with my son. Could you go get my mail, that kind of thing. And that's the first inkling that I had that people are now frightened. Now, I have enough people down there that I've taught over the years, Some of them are so sick they can't hear me. Put your fear down. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And some of you are very strong energy wizards. Don't use that energy incorrectly. You can't be looking at this forecast every 3 minutes and going, oh my gosh, it's a 3, it's a 4, it's a... All I know about each of you, you are a perfect 10. And by God, by gum, stay there. You're a perfect 10. And this rest of this is insane. What concerns me, because my beloved Jeff just told me, oh, they've already put in place the National Guard. Are you kidding me? What is that about? How much fear does that conjure up? And that means military control. Excuse me? Excuse me. Be careful of what you are conjuring up. You can just as well conjure the other way. I actually placed a phone call this morning to the only person I know is strong enough and healthy enough to understand what I'm saying. Her name is Bonnie. I love Bonnie. She's this, like a little sprite. I call her Mrs. Sparkle. She is a sparkle. I said, Bonnie, you got to help me. We got to help these people. I said, where are we going to stretch this from? I said, I got to get as far down as Boca because that's where I'm knowing that these people are frightened. She goes, oh, not even a doubt in her mind. New Smyrna Beach. I don't even know what that is. Like, okay, fine. So we've got that covered. What are we doing? We are draping a violet tent over the entire area. That's the work to be done. I honor the storm, and you best honor the storm because the storm's middle name is Mama Nature, and you best love her and embrace her. I am not telling her where to go. I have no idea whether she's on a destructive path or a creative path. I'm taking it as a creative path, so I'm being extraordinarily creative in how I'm watching this thing, observing it. Remember, that's what my TripAdvisor cautioned that I will need for the next 3 weeks. Okay, you're an observer. I know that where I live in South Florida is completely protected. I was told that this morning. That's why I've already suggested to my son, who lives on a barrier island and it floods, go there. I actually told him that before I left. Go there. And his dear wife said, is there a hurricane coming? And my son looked at me and I'm like, oh, not that I know of. So please watch your thoughts. For every fear thought, counter it with the violet light. If you can't conjure up the violet light, you can see a lovely tent. Who in their right mind that would be listening to this radio show cannot conjure up a purple tent? Tent, Florida. Wouldn't it be something that all of a sudden our dear, wonderful, magical governor kind of has to go, oh, false alarm. But people are buying into this, and they're buying everything off the shelves, which, of course, exacerbates the fear. Have you forgotten what you fear comes upon you? And I say that with great gravity. So what are you doing? Drop it. Immediately drop it. If for some reason you feel like taking a field trip out of the state, go forward gracefully and graciously. I do understand people on these barrier islands, they're in jeopardy. But, I do tell you, I wonder about the genesis of this storm. And you guys should be wondering, too. Who's conjuring up this storm and for what reasons? Enough said. And if you buy into it, that's your prerogative. But you're making it very much more difficult for Bonnie and I, who are trying to tent at least our portion of it. But those of you who hear me in Naples, Florida, and Sarasota, and up the Panhandle, would you please? They have these things on the highway that you can help your portion. Bonnie and I are helping our portion. Do your portion. And trust me, I am so calm up here and so dang beamed up. I will do more than what I told Bonnie I would do. I will do the state. And if you insist on undoing it, have a good time. I can't superimpose my will over yours. But I would have you question, why? There's either, you cannot have two powerful forces in the same boat. You cannot have love and fear in the same boat. Pick one. Pick one and hold to it. And hold that frequency. And if you cannot hold the frequency, please change your diet. Drink more water. You can't hold the frequency when your diet is filled with GMOs. And those GMOs are really getting people, that's what I see up here, that's what I see in the supermarkets. It's poison. It's full-on poison. So there we have that. All right. Here's one thing I wrote even before I spoke with anybody in Florida today. And it's very interesting. It comes out of a very powerful piece of work. When you stop labeling everything, so you're labeling a storm, when you stop labeling it, you will start to see things differently. Write this on your forehead, etch it into your brain. Labeling is a dissipation of energy. Any capital golden letters, any fixation or attachment to something is a dissipation of your energy. So even if you're given the guidance, yep, I need a field trip to Tennessee, you'll be too exhausted to make the trip. So be careful. You guys have gotten labels up the gazoo here, and it's causing resistance. It's causing, it's causing you to be in fear. And in essence, you're saying, I don't want that. I don't want that storm. My heart is wide open. I think her name is Erna. Is it Erna or Irma? Okay. It's something that begins with an I. Look, kind of, I feel there's an irateness about this energy field. I will tell you that. And it's probably because her first letter's her IR. So there is an irateness. But guess what? I look at all these people on Earth. They're so filled with irateness, it's ridiculous. So drop your ire. Drop your ire. And get with the program here. Choose love. And embrace her. Truly, she is embraceable. So I've been busy loving her. My heart is like flooded with her. I'd rather have my heart flooded than a whole state of Florida flooded. So I'm open for it, and those of you who are supposedly light workers, don't you dare call yourself a light worker if you're buying into this fear. Don't you dare do that, because that is ultimate deception. So either be what you are, show up and shine, and the rest of it, knock it off. I do have, Gloria, if you're listening, you make me smile, because Gloria always says, came yesterday for a consultation. Oh, my God, Elaine, I love it when you get on these tangents. That was just a tangent. I do apologize. But it really annoys me. Don't tell me that you're so holier than thou and you're holding a frequency and you're buying the last loaf of bread because you're living in fear. It's not a match. So live fearlessly, because the essence of you is God, and God does not have fear. It's a technical impossibility. You can't have it. So drop it. Drop it, drop it. All right then. One more minute, and I will introduce my guest. But I have to share with you something. Stuff makes me incredibly wound up here. I'm staying in a long-term facility. It's lovely. It's a lovely chain. It's really ideal. But because a lot of us are long-term stayers, eventually you have to wash your clothes. I don't send everything out to the dry cleaner. I take them up to the laundromat upstairs and put in my $2, and I'm a happy girl. Well, the other day, okay, it's laundry day, and I go up,